2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless wars. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless wars. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless wars. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless wars. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your endless war.
1, 2, 3, 4. What do we want?
Peace in Iran!
When do we want it?
Now!
Face of government violence! We will not be silent in the face of government violence! We will not be silent in the face of government violence! We will not be silent in the face of government violence! We will not be silent in the face of government violence! We will not be silent in the face of government violence! With Iran, no war! 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 With Iran,
No war with Iran.
no war!
With Iran.
No war! No war! With Iran! 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 No war! With Iran!
Yes, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace.
Thank you.
U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. No justice. No peace.
A good friend who's in Iran right now, and she is an active volunteer with our organization Richmond Food Not Bombs, and she has basically, blessed us for doing this and encouraged us to be active in this, and is very thankful that we're all here, and basically she works with immigrants and things like that, and is very active, and I'm sure she wished she could be here, but she's over there, and she's like one of the nicest people I've ever met, and we need to find equals in our brethren in other countries and other cultures, and respect the differences that are there and learn from each other. And that's what diplomacy is all about, and that's what foreign exchange is all about, and having immigrants come into our country, and that's what our country is based on. It's a country of immigrants. So to say that we're not going to let any of them over here, and that they're a shithole or something like that, is just it's stupid, and it's un-American, and it's unpatriotic, and we reject it on every ground. And we love our friends from Iran. That's all I have to say.
And in college, there was a war going on called the Vietnam War, and it got stopped by young people revolting and saying, we're not going to do it anymore. It took a long time to build up the groundswell to get it stopped. So it's much better to prevent it the way we're doing it right now than to let it happen and have to roll it back. So keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
And back in 2007, we organized a peace delegation to Iran and wrote a book called In Defense of Iran, Notes from a U.S. Peace Delegations to the Islamic Republic. And we traveled by van through 1,200 miles through the deserts, the mountains, and 5 cities. And I can tell you, virtually everything they tell you about Iran is a lie. First of all, people thought we'd get killed if we went there as soon as they found out we were Americans. It was exactly the opposite. We ran into 300 members of the Revolutionary Guard. And when they found out we were from the United States, they all stopped and started yelling, peace, friendship, friends, thank you for coming. The Revolutionary Guard had no idea who we were or why we were there. I really urge you to look into the history of the country, going back to 1953 when the CIA carried out its first overthrow of a legitimate government, and that was the government of Dr. Mohammad Mossadegh, Prime Minister of Iran. The Iran-Iraq War, in which the U.S. funded both sides in order to weaken both countries. The downing of the Iran Airbus 633 that killed almost 300 civilians. When you find out today that they're saying that Iran shot down this Iranian Ukrainian airline that was leaving Khomeini Airport, look into it deeply. Look how the Iranian government first said it was a mechanical failure, and the Ukrainian government agreed. And then they got the word from Washington. And now, well, maybe they shot it down, maybe it was a mistake, but you've got to look behind the facts. And the biggest thing is, don't believe that Iranians are 80 million faceless people who just hate the world. Or don't believe that they all hate their own government. It's a complex, complicated society, but every single person there would fight to the death to save their country from domination by the United States. And that's what you saw in the funerals of General Soleimani. That was the largest funeral procession in the history of the world. Several million people. The only previous one that came close was in the Ayatollah Khomeini when he died, and the funeral was over 1 million for him. That's the truth. So it's amazing that you all came out today. This is just wonderful. I know there's a lot of protests going across the state and, of course, around the country. And we want to extend our solidarity from the defenders and work with you all. And thanks so much for keeping up the banner of anti-imperialism.
So much, and they have this idea of this free country that they wish that they could also be a part of. And just like the man before me was saying, they're all very hospitable to anybody. I've seen Americans traveling in Iran before, and they're all enjoying themselves too. But my family in Iran is watching on social media, and they're actually very pleased to see that we're standing up for them, and they hate the thought of war. They don't want to go to war at all. I have a lot of little cousins, and I was in Iran. I don't remember it. I was 3 when we moved to the United States, but the Iran-Iraq War was happening. I was born in 1980, and so it's unfortunate, but definitely, we can think of the humanity. We stand with them. I'm thankful that you all are here, as are they.
U.S. out of the Middle East, no justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East, no justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East, no justice.
Out of the Middle East, no justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East, no justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East, no justice.
Be silent in the face of government violence. We will not be silent in the face of government violence. We will not be silent in the face of government violence. We will not be silent In the face of government violence, we will not be silent. In the face of government violence, we will.
Ended up organizing this event. Come over here, Jim. Richmond Food Not Bombs people. Come Richmond. Food Not Bombs people.
Where's Molly at?
I know there's a bunch more of you here. Where'd they go?
Molly! They're hiding.
All right. Anyway, so just to tell a little bit about Richmond Food Not Bombs, I mean, we're one of the longest running Food Not Bombs chapters in the world. I think going on 24 years. We have been serving out of a location in Northside Richmond for 3 going on 4 years. And every Sunday we get together at 12 o'clock noon and we prepare a meal, a vegetarian meal from donated groceries that would otherwise be wasted. And we encourage you all to come out. Look us up on Facebook, Richmond Food Not Bombs. You don't need to sign up, you just need to show up. And we're doing the meals at Monroe Park at 4 p.m. And we're also, so Sundays at noon, we have a location right in Northside by Battery Park. We would love to see you guys come out. And we are also doing meals at the cold weather shelter. So as some of you may be aware, the city of Richmond does not provide a full season's homeless shelter, but they do provide a cold weather shelter over by the city jail off of Oliver Hill Road. And it's only open on days below 40 degrees. But one of our partners, the Blessing Warriors, has basically set up a tent village encampment there that's actually really well organized as like a full-time homeless refuge here in the city. And so Thursdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays we serve there. But basically us and our partners are doing meals there 7 days a week. But we do it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But we encourage you all to come out on Sundays to start with and then get more involved. Look us up on Facebook, Richmond Food Not Bombs. We have a volunteers group as well, Richmond Food Not Bombs Volunteers Group. I know it's very catchy. But thank you all for coming. And if anybody else has something they want to add or some group that they want to plug, because we definitely encourage everybody to stay connected after this and keep this momentum going. And you know, there's obviously what's going on in our federal government is, you know, absurd, but there's a lot of things, you know, besides protests and things that we can do to help people around, you know, closer to us every day. And you know, I think it all adds up and it all matters. So anyway.
I'm a volunteer of Richmond Food Not Bombs and hopefully a lot more community organizations as time goes on. But I think we all know, to some extent anyways, why these wars keep happening. Why Afghanistan happened, why Iraq happens, and why the war with Iran keeps getting trumped up. Now, the new thing with Iran, just to the extent, is the involvement with Israel and whatnot. But at the core of it, why these wars keep happening is because there's a pretty powerful handful of people at the very top who make a hell of a lot of money off of these sorts of wars. Whether it's government contractors like Blackwater, whether it's oil companies, or Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, fucking Halliburton with the oil in Iraq, and certainly with Lockheed Martin. People making, because somebody owns the companies that make all the drones, that make all the bombs. All the companies get exports of natural resources when the country's taken over. And the US and Great Britain tried to do this 70-ish years ago when they overthrew the government of Iran when it nationalized their oil supply. And they're going to keep doing it as long as anybody is challenging their hegemony over the world. As long as Western capitalism is still the predominant form of social organization in this world. And people in every corner of this world gotta band together to actually fight that. And we can't just fight that by protests like this. Protests like this are great to get people out there, great to show that we care. But we gotta translate this into some more concrete action. We're in Virginia, for fuck's sake. There is loads of ways that we can, we're in the heart of the American empire, and is the American empire driving all of this. And there are loads of ways that we can actually affect that. But first we gotta actually get to know people. First we actually get to meet with each other and actually form organizations of mutual aid. And every blow against capitalism is furthermore a blow against the imperialist machine. because this imperialist machine is but an arm of that capitalist machine. That all these monsters, all these social issues lead back to one source, and it's that our society is governed based off of human greed and not human need.
No war in the world! 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 No war! Sanctions! No war!
Green New Deal, Medicare for all, world peace, things like this. No endless woes. Like a positive political message that you can talk to people about. You know, to defeat hate, to defeat imperialism. Well, not me, us.
Shout from the rooftop.
Not me, us. Not me, us. Not me, us. Not me, us.
Not me, us! 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 Not me, us!